focus on space, different elements and topics within the broad topic of outer space. I believe this is installment number 4 now. We've definitely done black holes. I feel like we might have done stars, and I feel like we might have done the Milky Way. But tonight we're going to be taking a look at meteors, meteorites, etc. How this video is going to be structured. And we're going to first take a little look at what exactly a meteor/meteorite is. We're then going to look at some facts about them. Next we're going to dive into some of the most famous meteors in history. And then I thought it would be fun to react to some footage of meteors captured from Earth. I thought that'd be a cool little end to the video, so hopefully you enjoy it and hopefully you learn something new. If not, and you're already an expert on space, then hopefully you find this video relaxing. But without further ado, let's get into a deep dive of meteors. I still haven't set up my proper new ring light. I'm using my little one up there, so it's quite high up above me. It's making my eye bags look way worse than they are. I'm not overtired, guys, I'm fine. Anyways, you don't care about that. So, what's that flash of light streaking across the sky? We call the objects that creates this brilliant effect by different names depending on where it is. So, meteoroids are space rocks that range in size from dust grains to small asteroids. This term only applies when these rocks, while they are still in space. Most meteoroids are pieces of other larger bodies that have broken or blasted off. Some come from comets, others from asteroids, and some even come from the moon and other planets. Some meteoroids are rocky, while others are metallic, or combinations of rock and metal. Now, meteors. On Feb 28, 2009, Peter Jeniskens, meteor astronomer at NASA Ames Research Center, found his first 2008 DC-3 meteorite, an SUV-sized asteroid which broke into 2 pieces when it landed in the Nubian desert of northern Sudan in 2008. When meteoroids enter Earth's atmosphere, or that of another planet, at high speed and burn up, they're called meteors. So meteoroids out of space, meteors within Earth's atmosphere. This is also when we refer to them as shooting stars. Sometimes meteors can even appear brighter than Venus. That's when we call them fireballs. Scientists estimate that about 48.5 tons of meteoritic material falls on Earth every single day. We're now going to look at meteor showers now. Several meteors per hour can usually be seen on any clear night. When there are lots more meteors, you're watching a meteor shower. Some meteor showers occur annually or at regular intervals as the Earth passes through the trail of dusty debris left by a comet, and in a few cases asteroids. Meteor showers are usually named after a star or constellation that is close to where the meteors appear to originate in the sky. Perhaps the most famous are the Perseids, which peak around August 12th every year. Every Perseid meteor is a tiny piece of the comet Swift-Tuttle, which swings by the Sun every 135 years. Other notable meteor showers include the Leonids, associated with comet Tempel-Tuttle, the Aquarids and Orionids, linked to comet Halley, and the Taurids, associated with comet Encke. Most of this comet debris is between the size of a grain of sand and a pea and burns up in the atmosphere before reaching the ground. Sometimes meteor dust is captured by high-altitude aircraft and analysed in NASA laboratories. So, looking at meteorites now. When a meteoroid survives its trip through the atmosphere and hits the ground, it's called a meteorite. Meteorites typically range between the size of a pebble and a fist. Most space rocks smaller than a football field will break apart in Earth's atmosphere, travelling at tens of thousands of miles per hour. The object disintegrates as pressure exceeds the strength of the object, resulting in a bright flare. Less than 5% of the original object usually makes it down to the ground. But don't expect to find meteorites after a meteor shower. Most meteor showers come from comets, whose material is quite fragile. Small comet fragments generally won't survive entry into our atmosphere. In theory, the Taurids and the Geminids could send meteorites down to our surface every once in a while, but no remnants have been traced to them definitively. It can be difficult to tell the difference between a meteorite and an earth rock, but there are some special places where they're much easier to identify. Deserts. In sandy deserts with large open regions of sand and few rocks, dark meteorites stand out. Similarly, meteorites can be much easier to spot in cold, icy deserts, such as the frozen plains of Antarctica. So a question: why do we care about meteorites? Meteorites that fall to Earth represent some of the original, diverse materials that formed planets billions of years ago. By studying meteorites, we can learn more about our solar system's history. This includes learning the age and composition of different planetary building blocks, the temperatures achieved at the surfaces and interiors of asteroids, and the degree to which materials were shocked by impacts in the past. But what do meteorites look like? Meteorites may resemble Earth rocks, but they usually have a burned exterior that can appear shiny. This fusion crust forms as the meteorite's outer surface melts while passing through Earth's atmosphere. There are three major types of meteorites: the ions, the stonies, and the stony ions. Good name for a band. Although the majority of meteorites that fall to Earth are stony, most of the meteorites discovered long after they fall are ions. Ions are heavier and easier to distinguish from Earth rocks than stony meteorites. So next question, where do meteorites come from? Most meteorites found on Earth come from shattered asteroids, although some come from Mars or the Moon. In theory, small pieces of Mercury or Venus could have also reached Earth, but none have been conclusively identified. Scientists can tell where meteorites originate from based on several lines of evidence. They can use photographic observations of meteorite falls to calculate orbits, and project their paths back to the asteroid belt. They can also compare compositional properties of meteorites to the different classes of asteroids, and they can study how old the meteorites are, up to 4.6 billion years. Martian rocks can be traced to the red planet because they contain pockets of trapped gas that matches what satellites and rovers have found at Mars. Similarly, if the composition of a meteorite resembles rocks that astronauts brought back from the moon during the Apollo mission, it is likely to be lunar too. Thanks to NASA's Dawn mission, we know that a class of meteorites called howardite eucrite diagenite, or HED, came from asteroid Vesta in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. More than 50,000 meteorites have been found on Earth. Of these, 99.8% come from asteroids. The remaining 0.2% is split roughly equally between meteorites from Mars and the Moon. The over 60 known Martian meteorites were blasted off Mars by meteoroid impacts. All are igneous rocks crystallized from magma. The rocks are very much like Earth rocks, with some distinctive compositions that indicate Martian origin. The nearly 80 lunar meteorites are similar in mineralogy. I was determined to get that word right. Mineralogy. And composition to Apollo mission moon rocks, but distinct enough to show that they have come from other parts of the moon. Studies of lunar and Martian meteorites complement studies of Apollo moon rocks and the robotic exploration. So let's take a look at some meteorite impacts in history. Early Earth experienced many large meteor impacts that caused extensive destruction. While most craters left by ancient impacts on Earth have been erased by erosion and other geologic processes, the Moon's craters are still largely intact and visible. Today we know of about 190 impact craters on Earth. A very large asteroid impact 65 million years ago is thought to have contributed to the extinction of about 75% of marine and land animals on Earth at the time, including the dinosaurs. It created the 180-mile wide Chicxulub crater on the Yucatan Peninsula. One of the most intact impact craters is the Barringer Meteorite crater in Arizona. It's about 0.6 miles across and was formed by the impact of a piece of iron-nickel metal, approximately 50 meters in diameter. It is only 50,000 years old, and it is so well preserved that it has been used to study impact processes. Geologists have studied the crater since the 1890s, but its status as an impact crater wasn't confirmed until 1960. Well-documented stories of meteorites causing injuries or deaths are rare. Anodges of Sylacauga, Alabama, was severely bruised by an 8-pound stony meteorite that crashed through her roof in November 1954. It was the first documented case of a person being injured by an extraterrestrial object in the US. So I think before we continue on this page, I think this segues nicely into the next section of the videos, which is some of the most famous meteorites in history. So the first one we have on this list is the Hobber Meteorite, the largest intact meteorite on Earth. The Hobber Meteorite is the largest known meteorite on Earth, weighing an astonishing 66 tons. It was discovered in 1920 on a farm near Grootfontein, Namibia, but it likely fell to Earth around 80,000 years ago. Composed primarily of iron and nickel, Hobber measures about 2.7 meters long, 2.7 meters wide, and nearly 1 meter thick, giving it the appearance of a massive metallic block. There should be an image on screen, hopefully, as long as I remember. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Hobber meteorite is that it didn't create a crater upon impact, despite its immense weight and size. Scientists believe this unusual phenomenon occurred because Hobber entered Earth's atmosphere at a very shallow angle, slowing its descent and causing it to land more gently. Over time it became partially buried in the ground, where it was eventually discovered by a farmer. Hobber is also famous for its accessibility. It has remained in its original location since its discovery, now protected as a national monument by the Namibian government. Its sheer size, combined with its remarkable preservation and accessibility, makes Hobber a valuable scientific specimen and a popular tourist attraction. Now we have the Chelyabinsk Meteorite. I'm probably butchering that name. Americans cook me, it's fine. The first meteorite to hit a human. Okay, this is what we just read. It's also known as the Hodges Meteorite. It's famous for being the first recorded instance of a meteorite striking a human. On November 30th, 1954, a grapefruit-sized fragment of this meteorite fell through the roof of Anne Hodges' home in Alabama, USA. The meteorite crashed through the ceiling, bounced off a radio and struck Hodges as she lay on her couch, causing a large bruise on her side. This extraordinary event brought significant media attention, making the Chelyabinsk Meteorite one of the most well-known meteorite falls in modern history. Right, gotta be careful how I say this next one, but we have the Fukang Meteorite, Queen of the Pallasites. The Fukang Meteorite is renowned for its stunning beauty, often described as a gem from space. Discovered in China's Gobi Desert in 2000, the Fukang Meteorite is a rare type called a pallasite, a unique stony iron meteorite containing exceptionally large transparent olivine crystals embedded within a metallic iron-nickel matrix. When sliced and polished, the meteorite reveals a breathtaking pattern, with honey-coloured olivine crystals creating a mosaic-like appearance against a shimmering metallic background. Here we have the Willet Meteorite, a sacred relic. The Willet Meteorite is one of the most famous meteorites in the US, celebrated for both its scientific importance and cultural significance. Discovered in 1902 near present-day West Linn, Oregon, this massive iron meteorite weighs approximately 15.5 tons, making it the largest meteorite ever found in the United States and the sixth largest in the world. Composed primarily of iron and nickel, the meteorite has a smooth, weathered surface with large, deep cavities, created by millennia of exposure to terrestrial weathering. What truly sets the Willet Meteorite apart is its cultural and spiritual importance. The Clackamas people, an indigenous tribe of the Pacific Northwest, discovered the meteorite centuries before European settlers arrived and regarded it as a sacred object. They called it Tomanawas and believed it had been placed on Earth by a powerful spirit. For generations, the Clackamas performed ceremonies around the meteorite, viewing it as a bridge between heaven and earth. Today, the Willet Meteorite is housed in the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, where it is on display as a national treasure. Despite being relocated, it remains a powerful symbol for Clackamas people, who continue to perform annual ceremonies around it in honor of their cultural heritage. The meteorite's remarkable size, historical significance, and sacred status make it one of the most famous and revered meteorites in the world. That's really cool. I've heard of this one. So we have the Chelyabinsk Meteorite, the meteorite that shook Russia. The Chelyabinsk Meteorite became globally famous in 2013 after a meteoroid exploded over the Russian city of Chelyabinsk in a dramatic, once-in-a-century event. This meteoroid, about 20 meters wide and weighing an estimated 13,000 metric tons, entered Earth's atmosphere at a speed of approximately 60,000 kilometers an hour. Upon entering the atmosphere, it exploded at an altitude of around 30 kilometers, releasing an energy equivalent to about 470 to 500 kilotons of TNT. This explosion produced a blinding flash of light, followed by a powerful shockwave that shattered windows, damaged buildings, and injured over 1,500 people, primarily from flying glass. What makes the Chelyabinsk meteorite so famous is not only its size, but also the unprecedented amount of footage capturing the event. The explosion was recorded by thousands of dashcams, smartphones and security cameras, providing scientists with detailed data on its trajectory, speed and fragmentation process. This footage allowed researchers to accurately model the event and analyze the dynamics of a meteoroid's entry and explosion in Earth's atmosphere. Don't worry, I will we'll watch some footage after we've gone through the rest of the meteors, for sure. Right, let's look at a couple. Let's look at a couple more. We have the Cape York Meteorite, a source of iron for indigenous people. The Cape York Meteorite is famous for its massive size, historical significance and cultural impact. Discovered in Greenland, this iron meteorite is one of the largest ever found, and its heaviest fragment, known as Anegito, weighing about 34 tons. This meteorite, which is estimated to have fallen to Earth between 10,000 and 30,000 years ago, was used by the indigenous Inuit people long before it was discovered by European explorers. The Inuit ingeniously used fragments of the iron-rich meteorite to make tools and harpoon points, as Greenland had few natural metal resources. And we'll finish with this one before watching some footage together. We have the NSI Meteorite, the oldest recorded witnessed meteorite fall. The NSI Meteorite is renowned for being the oldest recorded meteorite fall in European history, making it an important landmark in both scientific and cultural terms. This stony meteorite fell on November 7, 1492, in the small town of NSI in Alsace, France, with a loud explosion embedding itself in a wheat field. I hope Theresa May was okay. At around 127 kilograms, the meteorite left a lasting impression on the townspeople, who regarded it as a powerful omen. The fall occurred during a time when celestial events were often seen as messages from the divine, adding to its significance in historical records. Right, I have a YouTube video loaded up. 5 incredible meteor impacts caught on camera. And the first one is Chelyabinsk, so I'm going to hit play. I do have it muted, so I'm not going to have any audio cues. Okay, so I assume this is it coming in. I wonder what gave that away. Oh my gosh, like, I think if I saw that, I would just assume it was probably the end of days. Look at the trail, like, that is so big. Is this going to be it again? It's a little bit further away. Wow. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'd be... Oh yeah, so there's the explosion. I mean, is it going to be... No, it's just him narrating. I was seeing if there was going to be like original sound. But yeah, if I'm driving this car and I see that falling, I'm ringing my nearest and dearest and saying goodbye, because this is the end. Yeah, look at how that explodes. Oh my gosh, that is mental. Wow. Okay. What else can we see? Is there any other footage? I'm just skipping through. We're onto a different one now. So this one is what we're looking at now. Yushu in China. Okie dokie. Let's have a little look, shall we? I'm looking at a red mountain currently, and a wonderful animation of the meteor falling. Come on, here we go. Right, news flare. My gosh, like, that is so bright. It's like it looks like the sun falling from the sky. Isn't that the plot to Chicken Little? Oh my gosh, that is just... So it crashed in the mountain. That's mad. So it's night time and it literally lights up like the surroundings, like it's daytime. Like, look how bright it is above this football pitch. Like, that is ridiculous. My gosh. That's insane. Right, let's go on to the third one, which is Idaho. Okay, interesting. Let's skip straight to the footage. Oh wow, this is like... Oh my gosh, I just blinded myself. That, like, it's got kind of like a... Yeah, look at the green hue. I'd love to see one, for real. I wonder... I think on that NASA website, that's the first website I was reading from, and it had like a list of like, almost like a meteor calendar, I think, like when, I guess they can kind of predict like sort of when and where bits and pieces will fall. I'm not really sure how they do that. Just watch the Idaho one more time. When it goes like behind the cloud and it's like bright green, it's like the aliens are here. Right, number 2. Where are we at? Where are we at for this one? Shangri-La. massive, like, green explosion, that's not quite as impressive. It's still cool, obviously, but it's not quite as epic as the big green explosion in the sky. Personally, let's go to the last one, and we're up in Canada for this final one. Apparently, how exciting! U.S. Air Force. Wait, what am I looking at? What? Why am I watching police cars? Oh, was it a reenactment? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it looks like something straight out of Independence Day, to be honest. Here it comes falling. Oh, it's insane, is it? It literally just lights up the whole sky. Wow. That is so cool. Well, guys, let me know. Have you been lucky enough to see anything like that in real life? I've seen like a very faint, small shooting star once, but nothing quite as spectacular as anything in those videos. But let me know. But yeah, that is gonna do it for tonight's video. I really enjoyed that one actually. I think it's fascinating. I think maybe it's the kind of more sadistic part of me, but I'm always more fascinated with something that could, in theory, kill us all. Not necessarily that far, but they can be dangerous. They have the potential to be very dangerous. So instantly, that just raises how interesting I find them. Maybe that's a bit sick. I don't know. Let me know. Be sure to comment down below any other topics within the outer space theme that you'd like to see. Maybe a specific star or a specific planet, rocket. I don't know. I'm going to keep doing this series because I find space fascinating, and I really do think there are so many more episodes we can do. But let me know. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's video. If you did enjoy and you are able to, then please do give this video a like. And if you're new to the channel, I'd love it if you considered subscribing. But until the next video, everybody